grant making really asks the question, who gets to make decisions about where grant dollars go? In traditional philanthropy, it is typically the staff and board of foundations that get to make decisions. In participatory grant making, we are really working to center the voice of community and the voice of people who have lived experience in the specific issue area that you're working on. It's really about centering that voice and bringing diverse perspectives to the grant making process. The Overdose Prevention and Community Healing Fund gets its funding from the national opioid settlement dollars. The goal is to repair the harms inflicted on individuals, families, and communities as a result of the opioid epidemic and overdose crisis, as well as to prevent future harms.
The opioid settlement dollars came about in the wake of the opioid epidemic across this nation. A lot of cities and states and jurisdictions filed lawsuits against different facets of opioid distributors, prescribers, stores like CVS and Walgreens. So this settlement that we're talking about here is the national distributor settlement. So it was companies that actually distributed the pills. The state of Pennsylvania signed on to that settlement agreement. So there's a certain amount of money that comes each year to the city of Philadelphia. When I think about the settlement dollars and how important they are symbolically to folks and what it really means to loved ones that have lost people to overdose, I felt like these dollars were extremely sacred. And so as a collective, we wanted to make sure that the community that has been most impacted by the epidemic has the ability to have some agency over what is getting funded and where and what types of programs are being offered. And that we're really providing them the power to make that decision.
It's definitely different in a good way. It's different in a good way because it gives power to those that live through or have worked with or have seen firsthand how the opioid epidemic has affected residents and those who are using. More of it is needed because more people who are passionate about the work get to be part of the decision-making process. And that's not usually the case. It's really time to move towards that more and more often. I lived in Kensington all my life up to the age of 25. So I grew up in Kensington. I saw the community just change back in 2017, 2016, when it just came to the streets. The opioid use and the selling of opioids really became in your face back in 2016, 2017. And I really felt heartbroken for my community, for everyone involved, just because it really affects everyone involved, not only those who are using, but those that are not using as well.
I got involved by word of a mentor, actually, who let me know there was something I could do to give back and there was an opportunity. And when they told me what it was about, I jumped at the opportunity. My personal relationship to the opioid epidemic and overdose crisis is personal in that I used to live in North Philly and I had a lot of girlfriends and a lot of guy friends who got started on Percocets and eventually became addicted to fentanyl, and many of those friends are actually dead now. That's my personal connection. It's firsthand living and experiencing it.
I think it's really important. So many of the organizations that receive the funds are these smaller organizations that are really embedded in the community, that are really grassroots. And that was really important to us to make sure that we got funding to them. We are seeing there's such a crisis in the city of Philadelphia with fatal overdoses, and what we're seeing with the racial disparities in fatal overdoses as well, and more Black and brown folks unfortunately dying from fatal overdose. We really needed to pull in as many partners as possible. Our hope is that we'll see a difference in the overdose trends moving forward.
I really hope to see that community members and folks who do not typically have their voices heard around how resources are allocated have the chance to be a part of that decision making. I hope to demystify the grant making process, make it more transparent, more democratic, and that the city of Philadelphia will have more opportunities for real civic engagement like this, where folks can give back to their communities through this opportunity to say where money goes. Ultimately, money is power, and I hope to see power in the hands of people who are most impacted by how these dollars get spent.